Yo, what is going on YouTube? We are live again. What's going on with all the live streams? How is this even possible? Is my mic even working? Did we start a stream with the mic working today? We did. Holler. That's an accomplishment on my end. I'm very happy about that. Why is there a way? Let's see. Let me see if our thing's working. No, hang on. I have to get our URL. Let's see. Oh yeah. Is there a way to not feel so jaded or care about stuff in IT? Help desk absolutely craps on people, especially with poor and distributed documentation. There's a way to not feel so jaded or care about stuff in IT. Ah, man. It's like you just have to grow a thick skin, unfortunately. Like that's part of working with customer service, and that's part of being in help desk is customer service. And unfortunately, you oftentimes have to deal with very, very mean and rude people. Yeah, is is there a way to not feel that way? I think it takes time to eventually not care, right? Especially when you're in a position or a job that makes it more difficult. It could take a lot more time, and sometimes maybe it's just a bad environment. Like there's so many variables to that, but I don't think there's like any good advice that I could give you other than like going through in my head. It's just taking me time to say like, okay, I don't care like how these people treat me. I'm just here to do my job type of thing. And I just relate this back to working in a hospital in IT. Like sometimes the doctors and nurses can be very, very angry. And it's like, I have to understand that they may be under a lot of stress, blah, 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 whatever, like at the end of the day, just they'll be all right type of thing. I don't know. I hope that's kind of helpful. It's just like, it's so hard to answer that, quite frankly. Oops. Lewis, what's up? And thanks for motivating you. I'm happy to have helped. Cesar Morales, that's a killer intro. I hope so. I love that intro. Emmanuel, like the shirt. Thank you. I like the shirt too. It's very nice. Oops. Juan, is it a bad time to get into IT right now? You're currently studying for the A+ cert. It's a great question, for sure. But why do you think it might be a bad time to get into IT right now? Sorry, I'm adjusting this while I'm talking. It's definitely not a bad time to get into IT. I remember, honestly, 20 years ago when I first was like, it was probably longer than 20 years ago now at this point because I'm old. It was pretty much 20 years ago. I'm old. When I was asking people about getting into IT, because like it was something that I was interested in, and I wanted to go to college, and I was like, well, maybe I'll go to college for web development because that's what I was into. And like everybody that I talked to is like, no, you don't want to do that. IT in general is just oversaturated, right? Like all of these different IT positions and jobs, it's just oversaturated. This is 20 years ago. I've heard that just about every single year ever since for the last 20 years. IT is oversaturated. No, it's not. It's really not. Lonell, you're 42 and you're studying for the A+. Good luck. Retaining these acronyms is so tough. Any pointers on how we should study to retain the info well? Flashcards work well. That's one great way to do it. Also, there's like a bajillion free practice exams out on the Google. So just look up A+ practice questions, A+ practice exams. That's a great way to kind of test your knowledge, but also see if you're retaining any of that information as well. But quite frankly, like the acronyms, man, like there are acronyms upon acronyms, and especially like as you get further into IT, you're going to hear like, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but it's one that's like used quite frequently. Now I'm drawing a blank on it, but anyway, it has like multiple meanings, right? Like depending on the context or like just in the context and the conversation that acronym is being used can mean completely like different things. So yeah, it's just one of those things like the rest of everything in IT, like sometimes it just takes time to learn and understand. Don't beat yourself up over it. It's honestly not the end of the world to not know some of the acronyms. Like even like still I have to look up acronyms, right? Like there's the bajillion of them. Sometimes you forget them. It's okay. Tyrek, what's up? First time tuning in. You recently just joined DeVry Computer Science program, planning on getting into cybersecurity. Any advice to start in tech career other than help desk? Well, once you get a degree, your chances of getting a job that's not the help desk greatly increase. Getting certifications increases those odds as well, but like it all is going to boil down to experience. So what type of documented experience do you have? Building home labs is a way to document experience in doing specific things, specific projects, learning specific technologies. Definitely get on that for sure. Now, hang on, what is this? Sorry, I'm reading a message that I got from my boss about something. And that is pretty creative. Anyway, yeah. So home labs is going to be extremely helpful. Document these things. You can have this all on like a website, on GitHub, on YouTube. Just show that you can do the things, right? Like if you're looking to get a position that's outside of help desk, let's say you want to be a sysadmin. You want to be in cybersecurity. So let's say you want to be a penetration tester, right? Like that's what you're aiming for. So you get your degree, that's great and fine, but what certifications do you have that align with penetration testing? If we're saying that's the route you want to go down, that's our example, right? Get a certification that aligns with that, and then start building experience on top of that. So like start documenting your processes and how you go through a penetration test, right? Like TCM Security, you can go through our courses and they teach, like we literally teach you how to become a penetration tester and then teach you how to write a report. So it's like you can go through our courses and document these things that you're doing within our course, like hacking Active Directory and things like that. Document that, show that to people. And then of course there's a lot of marketing and branding involved today. And just 2022 and the way things operate nowadays. Like you pretty much almost certainly need to have your own brand, and you have to get out there on LinkedIn and be active, right? Man, there's so much to this, right? I want to get to more questions, but I hope that's helpful. I would suggest you go back to some of my older videos where I've talked about LinkedIn more specifically though, because that's just, LinkedIn is a freaking gold mine. Which should you choose? Web development and which you choose? Is that what are you asking? Or you chose those two. I got to point this one out because I just read it. Like NAS, it could be network attached storage, or the name is a rap artist from back in the day. Or so that NAS. I don't think I hear everybody call the NAS a network attached storage. A NAS, not a NAS. Wasn't the rapper Nas? Right? I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Sergio, what's up? Hi, currently in IT. You now have your Security Plus and will be Network Plus certified early July. Good luck. You want to become a Linux sysadmin. What certifications do I recommend? You're pretty new towards Linux. Well, Linux Plus can be helpful just off the start, just to start learning the fundamentals of Linux. So CompTIA Linux Plus. There's like Linux certifications from LPI. I would look into those, but probably want to definitely lean towards like Red Hat. So learning Red Hat, and there are Red Hat certifications out there. So that would kind of be like your end goal if you want to become a Linux sysadmin, is getting into the Red Hats. Please do not throw sausage pizza away. I was just looking at some OSI stuff earlier today, so it's funny because that was actually in there in my notes. Juan, how do I think this economy will affect the IT industry, especially new people trying to get into IT? I mean, so as a whole, right? I think like a lot of people are having just problems, right? A lot of business organizations, blah, 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 government. I'm not going to get into all that stuff because whatever. That's not what we're here to talk about. But I think as a whole, just all of the industries across the world are suffering from just all this whatever's going on, right? So IT ultimately kind of suffers from that, right? Like they might not be hiring as many jobs, as many positions, but there are always going to be open jobs. There's just always going to be jobs to fill in IT. I don't think you ever have to worry about there being jobs in IT for quite some time. And that's only because just look at everything around you nowadays. Everything is run on technology. I mean, you go into a store and you walk up to like the milk section, and you have like milk display advertisements targeting you based on your like geolocation to that specific advertisement. It's like just like this. I'm just going into this crazy bit of technology, but like somebody has to support like these weird things, one-off things like that as well, right? Like there's just so much in the world of technology that needs support. And I was just thinking about this earlier today. That's why I brought that specific example up. But like there's a lot involved with just like that technology alone that needs support, just like the rest of the world. Like there will always be a need for technology support in some way as long as the internet exists. Because everything is done through the internet, like, right? Your banking done online. You can't even go into a business and ask for an application anymore because it's done online, you know? Yeah. Would I recommend you to start a career in cybersecurity? I would recommend that you understand what that means first before you think about starting a career in cybersecurity. What does cybersecurity mean to you? Like, what position in the realm of cybersecurity interests you the most? That's like the question that you have to answer, because like while you can work in cybersecurity, you're working in within a field. You're working within a subset of IT first of all, but like cybersecurity is a very broad term. There's a lot of things that fall under cybersecurity. Deputy Gamer, what is going on? If I were to choose which to get certified in, AWS or Azure, which would I go with? In my specific instance, AWS, probably. And I only say that because AWS is just the dominant force in the cloud world. Not that there's anything wrong with Azure necessarily. I mean, yeah, there's not anything wrong with it. It's just like, as far as marketability standpoint goes, AWS is everywhere. So like, you can get on board with that if you want. You don't have to, but yeah. I'm just like thinking this through. I'm reading text messages as they're coming in. I'm sorry. But yes, it doesn't matter, honestly. Like at the end of the day, like I don't think it matters. It matters to the position that you're applying for, right? Like that's the only time it's going to matter. If you're looking for a specific job, you're looking to work in a very specific organization, and they use Azure, well then you have your answer, right? If you're looking to get a job that's local to your area, you could start looking at all the organizations in your area and see which cloud provider they're using, and that can give you maybe a better idea of which certification you could lean towards. Right now, it seems like the flavor of the week is cloud, zero trust, and AI. I mean, I feel like those have been the flavor of the week for a couple of years now. Lionel Rogers, if I could do it all over, which path and cert would I take? If I could do it all over again, I probably honestly would have stayed doing web development, like 100%. I would have learned more PHP. I would have learned more backend. I would have learned, I guess at the time that's really like that's what existed at when I was doing it mostly. Yeah, that's probably what I would have done. Been a developer, and I guess that's only because like the money and the opportunity that comes from that, and just the fact that you could build whatever you want. Otherwise, like, I mean, I don't know that I would change anything. I don't know. Getting into security sooner, maybe. I don't know. Gordon Gecko, can you get a IT help desk job with no experience? You have Google IT Cert A plus and Network plus. Absolutely, 100%. Help desk jobs do not require experience, even though the job description says that they want you to have experience. You absolutely 100% do not need any experience for any type of entry level IT job, especially the help desk. No experience required ever. It's help desk. I hope that helps you. What is the best way to find positions to apply to? Indeed.com. Indeed.com. LinkedIn is a great resource. Monster.com, right? Dice.com. Those are all amazing resources. I think even Facebook does jobs and stuff now. I don't know. There's like so many different avenues for you to go searching for jobs nowadays. But I gave you all of the best ones. Should you sign up for a cybersecurity boot camp from NYU? I don't like boot camps, honestly. That's what I will tell you. But you make your own decision. Can it be beneficial to you? Yeah, probably, maybe. It's hard to say. Everybody learns differently. You know, boot camps are very quick. They're just it's very fast paced. Is that going to be the best learning style for you? I don't know. After help desk, can you move into something besides sysadmin? Yeah, that's just like kind of like the easiest thing for me to refer to. So if you've heard me like kind of say, hey, after help desk, become a sysadmin, like that's usually like the easiest transition out of things, because those types of opportunities seem to open up the most, I guess, from maybe my experience and just maybe from other things I've heard from people. But no, like help desk is a perfect opportunity for you to learn more about all of the different technologies that are out there. So if you decide networking is, more suited for you after you work the help desk, like you start aligning your path towards becoming a network administrator. Same could be said with, security or all these different analysts and engineer positions. And there's no stopping you. Like once you get experience in IT, there's literally like no stopping you. It's an amazing career to be in, for sure. If I'm missing questions, it's because I cannot keep up with all the questions, like as I'm trying to answer them at the same time and stuff. So if I miss your question, I'm sorry. I apologize. William Murray, what's up? Dropping by to say you're awesome, looking fantastic. Thank you. I'm a BA. No, you're a BA. Thank you for stopping by. It's good to see you. Gordon Gecko, which coding language is more in demand, JavaScript or Python? I mean, JavaScript, I don't know. They're both way up there, man. Like those are like two of the most in demand. Like I think there's probably other languages that top the list as well. Like there's a lot of them that are very, very popular, I guess, right? And just very widely used. So between Python and JavaScript, like, I don't know, they're both very much in demand, and you can't go wrong choosing either one. Which IT field is paying the most? Does not matter, like, quite frankly. And if you're aligning your career for the dollars, you're aligning your career for all of the wrong reasons, in my personal, humble opinion. Like, any IT career can pay a lot of money is if you take the path, right? If like you go down the journey, like there's a lot of IT careers that can pay a lot of money. Emmanuel B, absolutely not. 100% no. Never in my life. Don't waste your money, please, for the love of everything. What IT job deals most with hardware? So there are like specific IT jobs out there that do like a lot of hardware support. I'm like drawing a blank on like exactly what that title would be, because job titles in IT are stupid. But like companies like Dell or HP employ technicians. So they might be like hardware technicians or something like that. That actually go out on site to organizations that have like HP or Dell equipment to do like the hardware repairs. So personal experience example that I can give for you is when I worked at a hospital, we had HP laptops and we had HP support. So if one of those laptops fried for whatever reason, like say the screen went bad, say keyboard stopped working, whatever, or motherboard needed to be replaced, we would call HP support. They would come out and they would replace the motherboard, or replace the screen or keyboard or whatever you like. So there are positions out there that do exist. I just wouldn't say that there's very many, right? Some organizations might not pay for that support, right? So that type of support could fall on you. You might have like a technician role or a help desk role. But within that role, you might find yourself replacing motherboards on desktops and laptops, or replacing screens and keyboards on these things as well. It's just so hard to say. Every single environment that you go into is going to be completely different from one another in so many different aspects, which is great in so many ways. But, just how things are done there are just, it's going to be different organization to organization. Anybody got recommendations on how to go about studying for the AZ-800? Tired of going through the Microsoft official documents. I'm sure there's YouTube videos out there that exist, and I know for sure IT Pro TV probably has videos on that as well. For real? Yeah, I worked for them at some point, and I feel deceived by that. Very much deceived. Hate that place. Zach, have you ever had an overnight IT position, and did I enjoy it? I've never worked an overnight IT position. I worked on call, though. So, again, going back to working at a hospital, part of like all the techs and sysadmins and stuff were on rotation for being on call. So 1 week out of like, once every 6 weeks or once every 7 weeks or once every 4 weeks or whatever, like you would go on a complete 1 week rotation and be on call after hours, basically. So standard hours for our help desk and all that were like 7 to 5, I think. So if you were on call from 5 p.m. until 7 a.m. the next day, like you had to take any phone calls that came in. I did that for a year straight once because like we got paid extra. We got $2 an hour extra to be on call. Well, you got $2 an hour to be on call, I should say. And then anytime I took a phone call, it was $25. And anytime I had to come into the hospital, I think it was $50 or something, whatever it was. So yeah, it was very lucrative. Like I made an extra 20 grand almost like that whole year of being on call, but that was like the most god awful thing ever, being on call that much. But I've never worked overnight like that. So, Gordon, do employers look for younger employees in IT? You're 45 years old. Not necessarily. I mean, you're going to run into that, like just for the rest of your life now, you're going to run into the age factor, right? Like there's always going to be somebody out there, and this just goes across the board, your age and any other factor within your life. There are people out there who discriminate. There's no getting around that. People suck. I hate people for that very reason. But like we will run across that. However, like IT, like in general, nobody's going to care. Like a lot of times, if you're older, you have a lot of life experience that transfers over to IT that can be very helpful. And you can look at situations from, just from your years of experience, you can look at situations much different than somebody who is younger and just has no experience in life. Highest paying IT certification, it's not a thing. Unfortunately, it's just not a thing. There's not a highest paying IT certification. There's not a certification that exists that is going to guarantee you any amount of dollars. It's your experience that's going to garner you the most money, right? Those certifications are going to help. They'll help significantly get to higher salary threshold points, but it's your experience and what you bring to the table. Marshall, you're looking to transition into cybersecurity from a non-IT related field. Are there any coding languages that are expected of you to learn? I wouldn't say expected of you to learn necessarily. And depending on what areas within cybersecurity you're like looking to get into, that my answer could vary as well. But ultimately, like, it's just going to turn out like Python. Just learn Python. Is this admin a dying career, or the automation AI will take it over? Automation AI apparently is going to take over all of the things, I guess. I mean, that's my general understanding from everybody, but no, like, I don't think you're going to replace the sysadmin with AI. You're going to replace some of the things that they do, or make some of the things that they do easier than they already are. I mean, sysadmins, honestly, like, the job of a system admin is to put yourself out of a job, because you want to automate all of the things that you do anyway. Like, every single sysadmin I've ever known, like, that has been their life goal, is I'm going to automate every single thing that I possibly can so I can just sit here on Reddit all day and watch, watch alerts coming in. That's it. That's what sysadmins want to do. So if anything, like, sysadmins are like gunning for more AI, right? Oh man, more automation. They want it. Bent 1K, you're struggling finding a help desk job here in Florida. Any advice? Are you getting interviews? Because if you aren't getting interviews, then your resume sucks. That's just blunt truth. I'm sorry. So if your resume sucks, yeah, you probably won't get interviews. But if you're getting interviews and you're not getting jobs, then maybe you're not doing very good in the interview process. And I would go back through my archive on the YouTube, because I have a video that I created that walks you through like the entire interview process, talks about some resume stuff and things like that. It's like a phenomenal video for you to watch that I think will help anybody who's having trouble with interviewing and things like that. Bran, you're currently working for an IT consultancy who has been dodging you regarding a time card and just put you to work without clocking in. I mean, sounds like red flag, potentially. I don't know. Can you code your own IT website and make a lot of money? Sure. Is learning Kali and Python enough to get pen tester job, or junior level at least? No. Is bug bounty worth getting into to pad a resume? Is it worth it to get into for that alone? Probably not, because there's, man, bug bounty there's a lot involved there. That's like a full-time job in itself. Dwayne, what does what even mean? I should code a bot that answers IT questions. I should. Like, for all the frequently asked questions, I need to have a bot available that puts in those commands. Start charging everybody for questions. That's it. Super chats from now on. That's the only way I'm answering questions. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit here and talk to myself. The only time I answer questions is when I get super chats. That's how much of an elitist jerk I've become. Totally kidding, by the way. Just kidding. Don't do that. I'm kidding. Can you become a network engineer without knowing how to code or learning any programming languages? Yeah. I mean, you'll probably want to know Python, but sure. One thing that I think everybody has to understand is like you live in a world with endless possibilities, and if you apply yourself to certain things, like you can make things happen. And I see people do this all the time. I don't think it always falls down to luck. I think it falls down to a lot of people are very persistent and oftentimes like just go one step above and beyond other people to get to where they want to be. Sometimes it takes a long time. Sometimes it can be very quick, but man, everybody's path is different. Everybody's experience here is going to be different. So they just know like anything is possible. And probably sounds cheesy, stupid, but it's so true. Is sysadmin an entry-level job? No, absolutely not. Michael, you put Linux on an old laptop today as a learning thing? Wow, so much better. It's a different experience, that's for sure. Will the cloud like AWS replace normal network engineering? Not necessarily. I think we're going to see a lot of change in the networking world in the coming years, and the cloud is going to be a heavy influencer on that. So I'm kind of interested to see how it all plays out. Which is the best programming languages for cybersecurity and IT? I mean, just Python. Just learn Python. Just learn Python. PowerShell is amazing too, though. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to try to say your name, but you have two options. One, start with an IT help desk job very soon. Wait a month for networking event with cybersecurity companies and try to find a job in cybersecurity then. Doing this loses your IT help desk job. I mean, why take the help desk job and then go to the event and see what happens? Why just be like, yo, help desk job. I have this thing that I have to go to on this day, so I have to take the day off and then go to it and see what happens. Right? But sounds like you got a guaranteed job, which that's pretty good. MG, what are entry-level jobs? Like title specific, like anything that's going to say help desk, technician, potentially analyst. Like titles, again, are pretty stupid when it comes to IT. But most entry-level jobs will be titled or described in some way that lets you know it's entry-level. It's a great question that I can answer for anybody who has a question regarding how long it takes to learn something. Everybody learns differently. There's not a good answer for this. Nobody could ever answer this for you because I have no idea what your learning style is. I have no idea how long it takes you to grasp information. So everybody, it's going to take a different amount of time for everybody. What do I think about Clojure, the most highest paid programming language today? I don't do programming, so I don't care about programming, quite honestly. Like, I'm sorry. I don't do anything programming related, like pure programming. Not my thing. Which is the best OS to be a pro for network engineering, Windows or Linux or Mac OS? Probably the Cisco OS would be my first. That'd be my first one. That'd be learn the Cisco operating system first and foremost. And then anything after that literally does not matter when it comes to network engineering. Does not matter. Is a network engineer salary less than a web developer? Depends on where, depends on experience, depends on variable after variable after variable after variable. How to become self-employed in IT? Well, what do you want to do in IT? Oh, I was just kidding about the super chats, y'all. Let me answer this one here quick. Nubu, hey Zach, what direction of trajectory would I recommend for a complete newbie to IT in regards to each major branch of professional IT? I would tell you to stay tuned because I am currently in the process of developing our practical help desk course. And that's going to literally lay out everything for a newbie. I feel like anybody who's kind of stepping in, who wants to step into IT, going to teach you the practical things that you need to know about IT. Like here are the real technologies, the real methodologies, just information in general that you should know getting into IT at a very kind of fundamental, like ground level that like anybody can grasp and feel comfortable with doing. And the level of knowledge that you'll get from this, and not even just the knowledge that you'll get from it, just the confidence that you're going to get from it is going to help you in your career. So stay tuned for that. Like legit. Anyways, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. You're working on your A+. Passed your Core 1 last month. Congratulations. You're taking your Core 2 next Thursday. Wish you luck. Good luck. Your content has been invaluable to you. Thank you. I'm glad to have helped in any way. I hear the Core 2 is easier than the first Core. So good luck to you. Best wishes. Seriously. You got this. I think you passed the hardest part of it. So. Is network engineer still important right now since everything is getting into the cloud? Yes, you still need network engineers to run the networks. I mean, you do. You have interview tomorrow and just realized you don't have shoes. Should you wear casual sneakers? Sure, why not? I mean, probably shouldn't, but YOLO. Just hit up the Goodwill. Maybe Goodwill's got like a pair of nice dress shoes for a couple bucks or something. Goodwill's an amazing place. We still shop at Goodwill like all the time because there's great deals. I love good deals. What? Why are you spamming? First of all, let's put you in timeout. And now I'm not answering your question because you're spamming. Jeremy Metcalf, you start school this August. Is 9 months enough time to be ready for help desk? You don't need any experience or anything to be in help desk. Honestly, you'll be good. As a master's degree, a waste of time, or you should just go for certifications? I mean, if you want to have any type of management or above type of position in IT, then having a degree is always going to be helpful for you. But otherwise, like having a degree in IT, not a requirement by any means. All right, y'all. Unfortunately, man, we got a lot of viewers, but at 5:30, 5 minutes, 5:30 Central Standard Time, we'll be ending the stream. If you guys are unaware, though, I'll pull this up. If you're looking to get into the cybersecurities, more specifically, not that one. Nope. 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 Oh. Okay. Now we did it. Yay, I did it. Should have had that set up before. PMPT live training starts tomorrow. If you guys are unfamiliar with that, I work for a company called TCM Security. If you're not familiar with us, the Cyber Mentor out on the YouTube, definitely go and check him out because he teaches a lot of really cool stuff on ethical hacking. But tomorrow we're doing live training on the Twitch for free, and you guys can sign up. The link is in the description. But it's going to be like 25 plus weeks of training twice a week. We're going over all of our materials that would get you prepared for our practical network penetration tester certification. So, I mean, I'd definitely come check it out if you're looking to get into cybersecurity or ethical hacking, penetration testing, things like that. Red team, like that stuff sounds fun to you. If hacking sounds like a good time, I would strongly suggest you guys come hang out with us for, 25 weeks or so. And it's free. And honestly, you cannot beat free ever. So check it out. Links in the description. So anyway, we'll do a couple more questions before we got to go. And hopefully we'll do more live streams because this has been fun, just kind of hanging out, answering questions and whatnot. Can you start a virtual machine with 4 gigs of RAM? I mean, yeah, could. It's going to be real slow because, you know, if your machine only has 4 gigs of RAM, you have to, you know, set aside probably like 1 gig of RAM for your virtual machine. That's going to be slow. How to apply? The link is in the description of this video. It should be in the description of this video. Pretty sure I set it up. Yeah, it says join us tomorrow for our first ever PMPT live training session. Just follow that link and you can sign up for free. Or just come hang out on Twitch for free. Anyway, any more questions? Is the chat frozen? Maybe my chat's frozen. I don't know. Oh no, the chat is not frozen. That's a great question. Do you need to be good with numbers or mathematical for network engineering? No, absolutely not. Math is not a requirement for IT. I am terrible at math. I can't multiply to save my life. Seriously. If you are new to this channel, first of all, welcome. If you're somewhat new to this channel, still welcome. But I never graduated high school, and I've worked in IT for the majority of my life as a non-high school graduate. Oh my gosh. I'm terrible at math, needless to say, because I dropped out of high school when I was 14 years old. That would be my freshman year of high school. If an idiot like me can work in IT, so can you, right? Isn't that what they say? Can you be self-employed in IT? For sure. Absolutely. What do you do when you get a little burnt out on this stuff? Man, there's so many different things I feel like I try to do. Whether that's like gaming, whether that's like going frisbee golfing, it's just trying to disconnect my head from things for as long as I can. I think for me, like a lot of my burnout, I bring on myself, but like I get myself so just ingrained into what I'm doing, right? And I'm so caught up in everything that it's so hard to disconnect. And it's like I'm feeling that right now, even like in like kind of a different sense, and just that like there's like a burnout coming and just kind of another like fashion almost in my life. Not necessarily work related, just like stress related, I think, but I'm recognizing these signs and it's just like, I just need to disconnect. Like I have to disconnect. And for me, like, that's just one of those things that I do. It's just like taking a step back. It's so beneficial. I don't know. I hope that kind of makes sense. But that's like how I look. Like, I just want to go on vacation right now. Like, I need a vacation. I need a mental reset. And that's kind of how I feel like when I get burnt out on IT is like, I need a mental reset right now. And I will sometimes not touch a computer for like 2 days, 3 days or something. And that's like a long time for me, right? That's a really long time. But like, I have to get that disconnect in or else I will burn out. I don't want that. Anyway, thank you all for joining today's wonderful live stream. Hope I was able to answer your questions or provide some bit of advice and help. Be sure to join us tomorrow for our PMPT live stream on the Twitch. Links in the description below. And that's it. See y'all later.